Dovetail A day 13. Lucky number 13. Well, not lucky number 13. I don't know why, but this one didn't go well. I don't know if you can tell, but there's some pretty loose gaps in this one. Maybe I was trying to concentrate too much on giving you some better camera angles so you could see a little bit more what's happening. I don't know, but there's always tomorrow. So let's get into this video, see if we can figure out what happened. I appreciate you guys being here. All right, day 13. Let's slide these old boxes, dovetails 1 through 12, up on the shelf. This is my pile of pre-milled stock that I already have, taking the stickers out. Stickers just allow for airflow. So I'm going to get cupping and winding in the boards. Chop them up on this beautiful miter saw I got here, the old Bosch. Looks like I forgot my safety glasses are all somewhere else, down to this ski goggle pair. I think I cut every one of these boards right about 9 inches long. I don't know that it matters, just as long as they were all the same. Right at about 9 inches. I like to hand plane all my boards. Take all the mill marks off, just a skim plane. All the sides. I try not to do the ends. If I don't, it's going to change the length. Standard maintenance. A little sweep and cleanup. Marking gauge. This was the second tool that we made in woodworking school. The first was my mallet, I think it was. Glued it up, mallet stock, turned it. This is where I cut myself in the very first video, trying to do that tiny little top end. Oh man, I can't tell you how important marking each one of these is. I forgot to do it at the beginning, and I was so confused. I didn't know what dovetail went with what. All right, let's get on to cutting these tail sections. You cut these in an angle. It doesn't matter the angle. It can be whatever. You don't want them to be too aggressive. You don't want them to be too shallow. That's why they hold the way they do, is based on the angle. And you'll notice that I always tilt my board. See that little tap? I tilt my board. It was a trick that they taught us in school, that you cant your board about the angle of the cut so you can kind of cut straight down instead of changing the angle of your saw on every one. I'm getting better at it. Still trying to. Coping saw work. My coping saw work is getting considerably better. Except for the flub of me trying to get that spinner on the corner there. This is probably one of my favorite parts. I don't know why. Just kind of paring on those ends, on those shoulders, cheeks. I don't know what they're called. Transferring the lines from the tail section to the pin board. This is where layout starts to get really, really important. The tail section you can kind of cut however you want. Just as long as you cut straight, cut however you want. These pins though, this is where you want them to line up directly. So a lot of attention you have to pay to cutting correctly, laying out correctly, getting your lines right. Making sure you mark the waist stock. You don't want to cut on the wrong side of the line. I've done that plenty of times too. This is a much harder coping saw cut because you got to go a lot farther. And you get a little wiggle in your blade from time to time. I'm getting better. Somebody said, I think I mentioned it before, somebody said something about widening the gap, the kerf of the coping saw being wider. I actually cut just off of my original cut line. That's why you see me come back the other way and nip out that little section. Now on to the real chisel work. One of the advantages of getting better at your coping saw work is that you don't leave as much waste here. If you can get away with leaving a lot of waste, you don't have to do this bench force down part. You can actually just kind of pair in on it. I'm not that good yet. I still got to do this big body weight lean in to try to get rid of a lot of this waste. But I'm excited. I'm hoping that soon I'll start to get past this. Into this kind of thing. This is what I'm talking about. where you just kind of pair in. I had already done some work and cleaned it up a little bit before. Oh, and this end grain here, it doesn't have to have direct contact. So traditionally what I do is I cut a little hollow, little valley in the center because it doesn't need to touch. End grain is not a good joint to glue. So you can have it kind of valley down in the middle between the two ends so you get nice contact. This is where I think I went wrong on this dovetail. I knew it. I'd done 12 other ones, and the ones that were really tight were the ones where I didn't pair too much. Here's the little round over trick that I was talking about. You round over the chisel. It takes some getting used to. It's not super easy. So I think the problem was I paired way too much on these, especially two sides. I got crazy with pairing. I think they were just kind of ugly, like there was saw marks and things on them, and I wanted to clean them off. I don't know why. I was being hyper specific on making them look good, but it ended up taking way too much off, and then the joints got super loose because of that. I think that's what happened here. Not 100% sure. Another rollover. It's a good trick so you don't blow out the back. It works. You kind of got to get the hang of it though. All right, now for the fit. You can see here, it fit together super easy, and it like drops down. See how it dropped down? It's really loose. I was pretty sad. I thought I was going in the right direction. I was like, video 12. Wait, 13. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, I got the hang of it. And then this thing was loose. I think I even point out here. Yep, loose. Now I can fit my thumbnail in there. My big honking fat thumbnail. Yeah, all those gaps were loose. This was slightly disappointing, but that's all right. Gives me something to shoot for. And now a big, long focus video. All right, guys, thanks for showing up. See you on the next one.